Carrying on a weekend to remember. I'm standing here right now. I got a chance. I had to push the crowd away just for a second here so I can get in here and see Daniel Allen Butler, author, best-selling author. Let's talk about your books first of all. You got the one, The Unsinkable, out there, bestseller.
My first book on the Titanic is Unsinkable. It originally came out in 1998, and to mark the 100th anniversary of the Titanic disaster, Capo Press issued an updated and revised edition, which we're offering here today. It's selling very well and being very well received, and I'm really excited about it. The subtitle is The Full Story of the RMS Titanic.
Yeah, and when you're talking about, because I'm sitting here, I'm talking to different people. You're like the man. I mean, when it comes to you love this stuff. You know, you're into maritime all the way. So,
well, I'm a full-time maritime and military historian. My interest in the Titanic goes back over 45 years. It's been something that I've been fascinated by all my life, and it turned into a serious vocation ultimately. And this is how I spend my time. Can't imagine myself doing anything else.
I notice when people come by and you're talking about it, you love to talk about the Titanic. Well, you love to talk about anything when it's boat-related, water-related. So you kind of got excited about what we got going on here with the Kalmar Nickel, and I understand you've been there before and, kind of fell in love with it because woodworker too.
One of my hobbies is woodworking, and, of course, there's so much beautiful wood construction and woodwork on the Kalmar Nickel. So my first visit aboard, I was in seventh heaven because it's so beautifully done. Amazing amount of craftsmanship in that ship.
Well, I know that you came out because you're out originally from Michigan. Now you're out in L.A., I guess, out in California area, and came out all the way out here to do, for help the Kalmar Nickel in a way by just doing this the Night to Remember, the lecture series, what they're calling it. And you got your other book out there now. That I guess, is this your latest one, The Other Side of the Night?
The second book that I wrote about the Titanic is The Other Side of the Night. The subtitle is The Carpathia, the Californian, and the Night the Titanic Was Lost. It's the story of the Titanic disaster from the perspective of the Carpathia and the Californian. The Carpathia was the ship that was 58 miles away. Her officer drove her at top speed through an ice field. Her captain, Arthur Rostron, drove her at top speed through an ice field trying to get to the Titanic in time. Ultimately, the Carpathia rescued the 705 survivors. The other ship, the Californian, was 10 miles away from the Titanic. Her officers watched the Titanic sink and did nothing.
Did they not know what was going on, or they just there was no things? The sinking of the Titanic, I understand, changed how we do everything when it comes to travel today on boats.
The sinking of the Titanic had a profound effect on the regulations concerning safety of life at sea, as a consequence of the fact that the distress signals were ignored. There weren't enough lifeboats. There wasn't a 24-hour wireless watch at the time. All of that changed in the wake of the Titanic disaster. In the case of the Californian, her officers saw the Titanic firing distress signals and chose to ignore her.
I just can't, because I've heard things like that, but I didn't realize it was that blatant that they just said, were they just firing fireworks over there or something,
Well, it wasn't a case of fireworks. They were rockets that were being sent up in accordance with the Board of Trade regulations at the time. It's just that the captain of the Californian couldn't be bothered. His attitude was, if someone else ran their shiny new ship up onto an ice field, that's their problem, not mine.
Oh, my. I had no idea. But I can find that on the story, The Side of the Night.
And The Other Side of the Night.
Yeah, well, I'm going.
The Carpathia, the Californian, and the Night the Titanic was lost.
If you would, make one out, two of them out, one each to Tim real quick for me. I'm going to take those with me. And we want to thank you so much for coming in. Now, we got a lecture series going on. Let's see. Because you got a busy weekend.
I really do. It's nonstop all weekend.
Yeah, because you're going from here, we're going to go down and we're going to see a movie.
A Night to Remember, the 1957 film, which is still the most authentic and accurate cinematic retelling of the Titanic disaster.
Yeah, and I'm gonna bring a book you're gonna fall in love with. You're gonna want to get it from me. I ain't gonna let you have it, but I'll bring it anyways. Then from there, we're going to a big party tonight. Wait. Before that, we're going to have a few cocktails.
I can't forget the cocktail reception, absolutely. And then after that, we're having a steerage party. And I'll be giving just a short 5-minute presentation.
By the time we do cocktails and all this, it ain't not going to be short for us. But when you talk about that, because this is a historic day. This is, I didn't realize until I came up here today, and a lot of people don't, but today, 100, I don't know, do you call it a celebration? Just a reflection back, I guess.
I call it a commemoration, but what we're commemorating, what we're honoring is that it is 100 years ago tonight at 11:40 p.m. when the Titanic struck the iceberg that doomed her. She sank at 2:20 a.m. on April 15th, 1912. It took 1,502 lives with her.
Unbelievable. So it was a pleasure meeting you. I know you're got a busy getting the line out here, so I'm going to let you sign some more books and everything. And we're going to see you throughout the night, so I'm sure we're going to speak again. Daniel, thank you so much.
All right, Tim, thank you. I look forward to talking to you again.
What do you see? Iceberg, right ahead.
All right, we're kind of following you around all day, Sam, because you guys have been busy. Kalmar Nickel, I mean, this is a great day. This is, remembering today is what it's all about.
It really is. Tonight, 100 years ago, was the 100th anniversary of the night the Titanic hit the iceberg, and then, of course, it sank very early in the morning, about 2:20, April 15th. And so, because we have a world-famous Titanic authority and author, we're having a number of events around him. He's been very gracious, Daniel Allen Butler, to come and do all these events for us. And when you're in the maritime history business, as we are in the Kalmar Nickel Foundation, we know how important this anniversary is for people, for the crossing of the Atlantic, how emotional it is. We just felt an obligation that we really ought to do something for Wilmington and for Delaware.
Yeah, because, when you talk about that's what represents us as far as when you talk about the getting out at sea. I mean, when you think about Delaware, you got to think about the Kalmar Nickel, the first one, was here. So
Yes. So we're the first, we brought the first permanent European settlers to Delaware and the Delaware Valley. And our story is a transatlantic story. The Kalmar Nickel is famous for the original for making 4 round-trip crossings of the Atlantic, more than any other ship of the colonial era. So our ship is very much about transatlantic crossings. And of course, the Titanic story is, even in 1912, is about transatlantic crossings, and that these are hazardous journeys, even in the modern era. It can be dangerous, incredible heroism. To bring a sailing ship in 1638 across the Atlantic.
Yeah, if you haven't been down to Kalmar Nickel, you definitely got to get down there and check it out. And you guys do different things for us to have because it goes on tour all over the world. You take it out in different ports and stuff, but you always find time to do things in Wilmington, especially with the kids. Let's talk about some things coming up.
Great. We got a couple things. We run education programming for kids all spring, and then again in the fall during the school year. So we do that really 5 days a week for school kids and other groups, camps, scout groups, other kinds of educational groups. And then in the summer, we do voyage down to Lewis, so we run public programs, public day sales out of Lewis a lot. We come back to Wilmington for 2 weeks, either side of the 4th of July. So a week and a half before the 4th of July and a week after. When we're in Wilmington, we have our 2nd annual Big Wilmington Pirate Festival, and that will be June 30th. That is a Saturday, all day down at Garrett Tubman Park. The Kalmar Nickel will be there, the pirate bands, pirate festivities. Last year we had at least 4,500 people on our first sort of debut.
Everybody put patches on the eyes.
Everybody. We have everything. Pirates are us. Everybody loves pirates. It really is fun. It's family oriented. It's for
and the boat's open.
And the boat's open. It's there. Entry, I think, gets you into the. You have to pay a little entry fee, but then you get on the boat And please come early.
I did get to see it, and I saw some pictures of it, and the kids look like they're having the time of their life, getting to play pirate. I mean,
yeah, and they do, and we have all kinds of activities. They can build pirate boats, they can build treasure chests, they get toy, safe swords, all kinds of fun stuff. Singing, we get pirate groups, pirate reenactors, all kinds of fun and activities. Buried treasure. Can't be pirates without burying treasure with a sand. So we really have a number of activities for the family. As I said, 4,500 people last year, and this year we're hoping to maybe double it. So come on out.
That's June 30th. You don't want to miss that, and that's going to be right down there. We'll give you more information about that and everything else. But right now, I think we're going to be. So, what movie are we watching today?
This was A Night to Remember.
Yeah. Well, let's check out A Night to Remember. This is when the fun begins. We've been chasing around all day long trying to find this party, and you kind of found it too. So this is Kathy. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I know you're good now because the party. This has been quite a day. I mean, it's started early this morning, really. We started over, you weren't there, but we started over at ShopRite early this morning with a book signing because they brought the gentleman in, and that is Daniel Butler, and wrote 2 books. And I tell you, I'm fascinated with the guy. The guy knows everything there is about ships, and you got to be happy he's here tonight.
I'm thrilled he's here tonight. He's been a fantastic contributor to the foundation and to all these events today. He's been unbelievable. So
yeah, but I told you I wanted to wait until you really got lit up a little bit because you went from one thing to another, and then you had cocktails.
My fourth event.
Yeah,
but Colonist Day at 11, and then we had the movie, which was fantastic, at Theater N. And then we had a reception, with a lot
at the Wilmington Club. I found out about the Wilmington Club. What a nice place that is. We're going to keep that a secret, though.
Yeah.
And then, of course, tonight, this is the finalization of it. What a party you're having here.
This is a great party. This is really fun. We love the Bullbuckers. They're a great band, and I think everybody's having a lot of fun. But we actually have the lecture tomorrow night, too.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Afternoon.
Yeah, but I'll give you time to recoup a little bit, Kathy.
Yeah,
but
good morning.
I wanted to tell people, because you're nicely dressed, and everybody in here tonight is trying to get back into an era and then get to that Titanic era, because it was 100 years ago. In fact, in about an hour from now, that the Titanic hit the iceberg.
Right. Yeah. That's right. Right.
So tonight's party, all of the funds raised is for a good cause, and that's the Kalmar Nickel.
That's right. All the funds are for the Kalmar Nickel for our education programs.
So Melissa Kenny.
She joined our board, and she is the chair of this event.
Well, you aren't running.
You guys see enough of me.
Yeah, but you did such a great job with this. I just want to say congratulations on a very successful party.
Well, thank you. Yeah. It's for a great cause, so I hope everybody will come down to the Kalmar Nickel and come out and see what it's all about, and bring your kids and check it out. They got a great thing going on.
Yeah, because the main thing is it's about the kids. You said it right. You can do this. It's a party. Yeah, so we're having sodas and stuff like that. It's you always do that at parties. Like yeah, but when you're talking about it, it's all about the kids, because that's what the Kalmar Nickel's about. It's about education today.
It really is. It's exciting, and the kids, because it's exciting, their minds open up. And it's a great way to get kids educated.
But you have
worked. So unique to Delaware. We should be very proud of the fact that we have an amazing, beautiful 16th century ship.
Not too many people have a tall ship like that. Yeah.
It was actually on the National Geographic special. It was used to film the Vasa story.
Oh, wow.
So it's a very unique and beautiful ship.
You're getting up on this all. Yeah,
You got to come check it out.
I'm telling you, everybody's got to check it out because I haven't checked it out. I remember we launched the ship, we did a couple of sailings, and we kind of said, oh, well, okay, the ship's floating now, but we kind of forgot about you guys. But you guys are really doing a lot of work in the community as far as education once again. And so, but Melissa, you did a fantastic job with this. It's a good time.
I didn't do it. Everybody else did it.
But you're behind it. I know.
Well, thank you.
You always do a great job. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
100 years ago tonight, at this moment is when it all started, ladies and gentlemen. That's why we're here. All of a sudden, we're getting serious. You see, it started this way. It happened 20 minutes before midnight on April 14th, 1912. In an extraordinary confluence of circumstances that brought about what Thomas Hardy would call the convergence of the twain. That dreadful meeting of ice and steel. For a 10-second encounter with an iceberg opened up the first 6 of the Titanic watertight compartments. She could have floated with the first 4 open to the sea, but once that 5th compartment was breached, her end was a mathematical certainty that could not be prevented nor delayed. As Antony said, if you have tears, prepare to shed them now. Just after midnight, the order was given to uncover the lifeboats and swing them out over the ship's side. A few moments later, the officers were told to begin putting the women and children into the boats. At 12:15, the first wireless call for help went out. CQD, CQD, SOS, MGY, SOS, MGY, 4146 North, 5014 West, CQD, CQ all stations, D, distress. Distress means one thing at sea, one thing only. Somebody somewhere is about to die. SOS, the new distress call. MGY, the Titanic's call sign. 4146 North, 5014 West, her position. At 12:50, the first white rocket was fired. The Titanic needed the help so desperately, she was calling on any ship within sight of her. But this was not the Oceanos, this was not the Achille Lauro, this was not the Costa Concordia. There would be no mad stampede for the lifeboats by the crew. 4 out of every 5 crewmen died with that ship. They deliberately stayed out of the lifeboats, knowing that every space they left for a passenger was one more passenger who might survive. If the passengers didn't take advantage of it, it wasn't the crew's fault. And nor did the passengers panic. Amazingly, for most of the men and women aboard the ship, the Edwardian imperatives of conduct would assert themselves. Survivors would later recall how, until almost the very end, panic and hysteria were rare. Husbands would plead with wives to get into the lifeboats. Men in first class would make the beau geste and stay behind, while third class tragically did what third class had always done. They waited for their betters to tell them where to go, what to do, when to do it. The Titanic settled slowly so that for some it was still difficult to grasp she was actually sinking. But by 1:20 the foredeck was awash, and those who had been hoping against hope began to understand that the ship was doomed. When by 2 a.m. the running lights were just below the bridge, everyone knew the end was near, and the Titanic stern began rising into the air. At 12:10 the bridge went under, all but 2 of the lifeboats were launched, and as the water washed up the boat deck, most of those still aboard began retreating towards the rising stern. Bulkheads, frames, hull plates began to split and shear under the strain. Deck by deck, the Titanic began breaking apart between the 3rd and 4th funnels. The first funnel collapsed in a shower of sparks, and the lights suddenly went out completely, snapped on again in a searing flash, and then went out again forever. Now all those in the lifeboats could see was a black shape silhouetted against the impossibly bright stars, suspended as it were between the sea and the sky. For a few seconds she seemed to hang there motionless, and then she began her final plunge. Standing on a lifeboat less than 50 yards from the Titanic, her second officer heard a sound that would haunt him for the rest of his life. Husbands and wives, parents and children, all calling out to each other with their last breath, "I love you." And then at 2:20, she was gone. out of the 2,207 people aboard, only 705 survived. And this is how it began. What do you see? Iceberg right ahead.